Hello guys, welcome to What Do You Think? So from last 5 days, Nirmala Sitharaman, Finance Minister, has been announcing many packages and many provisions for the COVID-19 20 lakh crore package. In this video, we are going to talk about agriculture reform specifically because in my opinion, this agriculture reform has been the biggest reform since 1991 liberalization and globalization. It is not as big in terms of economy, but it is the bigger reform in terms of population getting impacted. So if we think about population depending on agriculture or businesses related to agriculture, then around, even the conservative estimate is around 60% of India's population depends on agriculture or businesses depending or linked to agriculture. These reforms impact this entire population of 60%. So what has exactly the central government has done or has promised to do? Firstly, if we consider the main promise that Nirmala Sitharaman did, that is amending the Essential Commodities Management Act. So let me just explain to you what the history of this act is. Firstly, this act was introduced in British India in 1943, the time when there was World War II going on and there was massive Bengal famine in Bengal region. Approximately 5 million people died as a result of that famine. So there was this need to ensure essential supply of food to be procured by the government, especially by the central government. So that rule was called Defense of India rules. I mean this act was part of Defense of India rules. Later, when India got independent, then in 1955, independent India first amended this act and made it Essential Commodities Management Act. That was also understandable because at that time there was no green revolution, there was no white revolution, so India was depending on foreign supply of food and other essential supply. So it was that time's need to have procurement of massive food supply, especially grains and pulses, but still priority was given to the grains such as wheat and rice to be the main supply of any poor Indian household. But now, especially after green revolution, when we don't really have that much of trouble about food, but actually we have the other kind of trouble about food surplus. So now there was need to have massive silos to be built to have cold storages and etc., but government simply doesn't have the funds to do that. Now imagine a situation where a farmer has to plant some onions which he will sell in the market. He is not sure what price he will get in today's scenario, or say the scenario that was prior to this announcement. That farmer was not sure what price he was going to get. It could have been 30 rupees or 35 rupees or 40 rupees, but it could have been 1 rupee. So this disparity was huge and there was no assurance to the farmer that what price he is going to get. Now because of this, we are going to have future pricing. The future pricing term means that if I am going to plant onions today, then I know when I am going to harvest these onions, I know exactly or at least approximate price of this crop. So it might not exactly be 25 rupees, but it will be at least 20 rupees or max 30 rupees, because the private sector, the private industry will be procuring all this crop. The corporate farming or the contract farming has been allowed by the central government. Now private sector will be able to build massive silos. Now because of the amendment or the promised amendment in Essential Commodities Act, there is no need for private sector to be fearful of central government's enforcement agencies, where before, if you are storing more than a quintal, or I'm giving you a hypothetical example, if you are storing say 1 ton of rice, and if somebody comes to you and says that it comes under Essential Commodities Act, then you have to give away that rice and then you are committing to an illegal act. Now that finally that is over, private sector can build cold storages of 1 lakh ton, 1 million ton, the proportion can be massive because we produce that much. Now because of that, the farmer gets assured price. Now this is one aspect of the amendment and the reform. The second and the biggest or equally good reform that this government has done is APMC reform, Agricultural Production Management Marketing Committee. So this APMCs are the monopoly of procuring the any agricultural product from any farmer. So you and I can sell our talents or our work to anybody that we choose to sell, or if the buyer is willing to pay for it. But farmer has the only option of selling his product to APMC. Because of that, it obviously creates a monopoly, and farmer has to agree to sell the whatever price that APMC sets for him or for his product. Now that the central government has allowed private players to get into this APMC kind of thing, because of this there won't be a monopoly. Now understand the situation that when there was only one airline like Air India, there was massive rise in prices, the service was poor, miserable timings. But now that there are many private players, we have one of the most flourishing industry in the world in airline industry. That is the effect any private sector has on any sort of industry. So this amendment, especially APMC amendment, gives extreme freedom to any farmer to produce and sell whatever it wants to sell. Today's problem for this farmer of Indian farmer, which we obviously assume as a poor farmer, because in large percentage it is a poor farmer, that is not at the production level. He produces more than he should or more than he can. The problem is in marketing sector. If these reforms get rolling as they have promised, then I think this will be the biggest reform Indian economy has seen since 1991.